Excuse me, but who said it could already be May? Like, this year is just like, where on earth did all the time go? Let's talk reading plans for May. Hi guys, welcome back, bienvenue and all that jazz. It's time to talk about some books. Or specifically, today we will be talking about the hopes, dreams, goals, aspirations that are my reading plans for the month of May. So, I don't know about you, but like TBRs have been not going well this year. To say the least. I read a handful of books from my TBR, and then I read a bunch of books that are not even remotely related to my TBR. And so what I'm going to do moving forward, I think, are just list a bunch of books that I'm excited to read and cross my fingers and point my heels to Jesus and see what happens with my reading month. So let's just jump into all of the things that I would like to get to in May, but like, my reading has been so sporadic lately. Like, and I don't know what it is. Like, do you ever just get in like those moods where you feel a little off, but like nothing's really wrong, but also just like, you're like, okay, but like, I don't feel great, but nothing's wrong. I don't know, whatever. Let's talk about books. So the first thing that I am hoping to at least continue making a dent in this month, I mean, I'll be starting it this weekend, so that will be happening. That is, I would like to continue the Throne of Glass series by Miss Sarah J. Maas. As you all know, or maybe you don't know because you're new here, but my interactions with Sarah J. Maas have been the Crescent City series, House of Earth and Blood, loved it, was like 4.5 stars, somewhere in there. House of Sky made me viscerally mad. And if you want to know more about my feelings on House of Sky, then I have a whole 30-minute like, rant review. I'll link it wherever. So that has been my experience to date with Sarah J. Maas. And for House of Sky and Brother, I buddy read that with my friends Jashana over at Jashana C and Ingrid over at Ingrid Inspired. I'll of course link their channels down below. And after we had the collective trauma that was reading that book, they convinced me to give Miss Sarah J. another chance. And so what they recommended was the Throne of Glass series. And so Jashana actually sent me this beautiful box set of the Throne of Glass series. Thanks, girl. Mm-hmm. But, so we have been making our way through this. So far I've read the prequel, novella, short story collection, whatever you want to call it. And then I've read books 1 and 2. And so in the month of May, I'll be starting book 3 and we'll see how far I get. The thing about this series is it's supposed to be like her debut series. My arm is getting really tired, so I'm just going to take out the like prequel novella. I may be 6'7", but my arms get tired too. So this is much better. So, the thing about the Throne of Glass series is it's basically her debut. It's a YA high fantasy series where we follow the character Celaena Sardothien, who is known as the assassin of Aderlon. And so she is just this gnarly killing machine, but she has such depth to her character. And if you're ever going to read Throne of Glass, you have to start with the Assassin's Blade. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because starting in book 1, she will talk about how she's this assassin and things like that. But in book 1 in particular, you really don't get that. It's more of a competition plot line. And she will reference some characters and some events that you actually see in the Assassin's Blade. So for that book to have more impact and for you to kind of jive with Celaena sooner, you need to start with the Assassin's Blade. But I'm all over the place, but back to what I was saying. So this is supposed to be her debut YA series. And so one would expect that from her debut to her most recent adult works, that you would see growth. There would be more nuance to the characters, more interesting character arcs and plot lines and better building of the romance and all of those things. None of those things are true. When I started reading Throne of Glass, I was like, okay, wait. Isn't this her debut? And they were like, yes. I was like, wait, isn't this supposed to be YA? And they said, yes. So I was like, wait, but like the character development is already more interesting in this novella bind up. The romance is actually like super sweet. You get to see the cute moments between them as they kind of go from a friends to lovers thing. And it's just like adorable. So I was just like, okay, this makes me even more retroactively mad about House of Sky because you were more like, you had better depth and arcs and development and sweeter romance in your friggin' debut than you do in your current, probably 10 years later, adult work. Like, Miss Sarah, please get it together. I know you rich. I know you rolling in that dough and you have those stands that will follow you wherever you go. But please, at least put in some effort. Whatever. But Throne of Glass has been very fun so far. And so I am definitely continuing with this series and we will see how far we get. Then for the other things that I'd like to get to this month, I have a few arcs. Okay, so it's time for me to be real with you. So I don't know if you know what NetGalley is, but it's basically this website that book bloggers or reviewers or whatever, you can have a free account and then you can request electronic versions of books before they come out with the hope, at least I'm sure from the publisher's perspective, that you will read and review that book on or before its release date to kind of help with the market. You know what I mean? Like it helps the books out. And so me as a brand new ingenue on the Goodreads scene was like, oh my God, I'm going to swipe left on anything that sounds even remotely nice to me. And so I did. And then I was like, oh shit. Because then I think I have like 15 arcs. And I think like 3 of them were from April. And I didn't read almost any of them. And I'm like, oh. So we'll see. I might just cut my losses with the April ones and just jump into the May ones. I don't know. We'll see. We will see what happens. But if I do manage to squeeze in some arcs, the first one that I'd like to get to is Heir of Memory and Shadow, and that is by my Southern California sister, Rachanee Lumayno, and this is book 2 in her Kingdom Legacy series. So in February, March? Time is a very strange construct. Sometime earlier this year, I read book 1, which was Heir of Amber and Fire, and I had a great time with that. It was kind of like a good transition from middle grade to YA. There was not a huge focus on romance, and it was a independent magical wizard princess who can save herself, shape-shifting dragons, who happen to be very shiny, and it was just a very good time. So much fun, adventuring story, fast-paced, all of that. And so the second book in that series comes out, I want to say next week on like May 2nd or 3rd, and it is called Heir of Memory and Shadow. And it seems like maybe we follow a different character. I'm not totally sure. Just looking at the blurb on Goodreads, Kiernan is Thor, may be one of the most gifted seekers in the kingdom of Orchwell, but he wants nothing more than to be rid of his gift, the ability to find lost loves, which often ends in heartbreak. So when Lady Adalia Pahame hires him to find her own lost love, Kiernan assumes it will be an easy, routine commission, but when the mystery surrounding his new traveling companion causes them to run afoul of an infamous gang of bounty hunters, Kiernan realizes this is one commission he might not return from. Will he be able to uncover the truth in time to save his friends and himself? So, I mean, it just seems like we're on another adventure in this world. And we'll see what happens with that. I will hopefully get to that. I swear, I'm doing my best. I am. And then the next thing that I would like to get to is from my Goodreads buddy, Mr. L.R. Schulz. He has his debut self-pub novel coming out. I want to say it's at the end of May, like May 22nd. And it's called A King's Radiance. The sun's light shines bright over the land of Zapur, and only a select few can harness its power. But all power comes with a cost, and the world is not kind to those who refuse to pay it. Ray's Glaive, a strong shine wielder, was born into royalty, though even royals have to answer to someone. When the King Radiance sends one of his precious underlings to the kingdom of Trost, Reyes quickly learns who holds the true power in the realm. After his sister is taken prisoner simply for having the violet eyes of a mystic, Reyes swears vengeance. But when an unwilling father stands in his way, Reyes promises to take revenge into his own hands. I don't know anything else than that. Sounds good. I've been seeing some buzz about it over on the gram. I think I just aged myself, and then my cat meowed to agree with me. So it just sounds fun, and I'm going to check it out. I will do my best to get to it in May, Mr. L.R. Schulz, I promise. And then the last thing that I am hoping to get to in the month of March is the Stardust Thief. This is book 1 in a new trilogy from Orbit Books called the Sand Sea Trilogy from Miss Chelsea Abdullah. And I think it has kind of like retelling of Arabian Nights type vibes. So neither here nor there, but long ago. My goodness. Nuli al-Nazari is the Midnight Merchant, a criminal who, with the help of her djinn bodyguard, hunts and sells illegal magic. When she saves the life of a cowardly prince, she draws the attention of his powerful father, the Sultan, who blackmails her into finding an ancient lamp that has the power to revive the barren land at the cost of sacrificing all djinn. I mean, it does say that it's inspired by stories from 1001 Nights. It weaves the gripping tale of a legendary smuggler, a cowardly prince, and a dangerous quest across the desert to find a legendary magical lamp. I'm here for it. I mean, I love Aladdin. That was my husband's nickname in high school. Weirdly enough, people called him Aladdin because he kind of looked like him. So I'm here for it. I love me starts new fantasies. I haven't really read much like desert-y fantasy. And so if I'm going to dip my little pinky toe into some desert fantasy, where better to start than something related to 1001 Nights. So those are my reading aspirations for the month. Are you reading any of these? Have you heard of any of these new releases coming out? Have you read Throne of Glass? Or just pop down in the comments and let me know what you plan to read for the month of May, if you are one of those planning types. Or just let me know if you're a mood reader, because I mean, there's room for all kinds on this channel. But that is all I have for you today, my friends. If you liked this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more bookish stuff like this from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!